sat down and I watched the Dateline Where Are the Children updated episode, and you know I've got opinions, so let's talk about them. Now, y'all, I'm going to kind of go over these in accordance to who said what. Now, first and foremost, my heart goes out to Colby and Kate and Larry Woodcock. I mean, my heart absolutely breaks for them. I think these are the only people in this situation that I've seen that truly care about these children and what has happened to them. So first things first, y'all, let's talk about Colby. I mean, basically, this was his show. He's up there telling this story, and oh my God, did he tell one. So first of all, the allegations against his stepfather, Joseph Ryan, the late Joseph Ryan, I should say. Now, again, for those who don't know, Joseph Ryan was another former husband of Lori's who is no longer with us. We'll talk about that in a second. Now, Joseph allegedly passed away from a heart attack, and Colby was making some pretty big allegations against him. Colby came out saying that, look, you know what? I didn't really get along with this dude, and he was sexually abusing me. Now, y'all know how this goes in Lori's family. When Alex found this out, allegedly he came after Joseph Ryan. Now, Alex was charged with a crime against Joseph Ryan for attacking him at some point. Now, this brings us to another interesting tidbit that I thought was very interesting that Colby said. Colby said that he was used to always being on the run with his mother, Lori. Like, they were always running from something. And so if we look at the pattern of her life, even up until now, I mean, the only reason she's not running and she's still trying to if she could get out is because she's incarcerated. So it really seems like she goes and she gets into these situations and then she stirs up all this drama, people disappear, people's lives are lost, and she runs to the next thing. So then enter Charles Vallow into their lives. Now, Cody made it sound like Charles Vallow was the first real stability that he had in his life with his mother. It seems like Colby's high school years were the most stable. You know, he even says, look, we weren't doing these crazy court battles, custody battles, all this stuff. It was somewhat normal, and I'm thankful he got to experience that. Now, sadly, that story doesn't last. We see evidence throughout the show that essentially Charles Vallow knew what was up at one point. He was sending texts to friends and his sister and brother-in-law and all these people and all these messages, you know, showing like, look, Lori thinks that I've been possessed by some dude. She doesn't even think I am who I am. You know, if something happens to me, it's her and her brother Alex that did it. So he's calling all this out way before it happens. Like, he knew what was in the pipelines for his life. Now, another aspect that I thought was interesting that Colby said in relations to his mother was that, you know, at one point, Colby, like any young guy or person, whatever, he ends up getting married. Colby says that once he was married, his mother treated him more like a boyfriend, like it became a competition. Now, to me, that's just very telling for the type of person that she is in regards to just being selfish, narcissistic. Everything needs to be about her. Everyone's life needs to revolve around her. In regards to Vallow's death, Colby says, Mom called me and was like, oh, he died of a heart attack. And, you know, he had a hard time accepting it. It was a hard thing for him. And then he's like, look, when I got to the house later on, you know, she's telling me like, oh, actually, this is what happened, the whole situation with Alex Cox. And I mean, he was flabbergasted, as he should be. Now, y'all, when they showed this, the body cam footage from the cops and stuff like that, y'all, slap guilty all over these grifters. You know, it was so obvious. She's sitting there laughing and joking. Alex is dabbing a little scratch on his head, talking about, I got hit upside the head with a baseball bat. Y'all, how they did not arrest these people right then and there is beyond me. Even an acquaintance of Alex Cox said when she listened to that 911 phone call, she was like, oh, I knew that was absolutely not what happened. So then look at this aspect again. You know, here this situation comes. It's now escalated up to murder, and Lori is off and running again. She's not even telling her son where she's going. So y'all, let's look at the situation for 1 second through the eyes of April, the friend down in Kauai, Hawaii. So, you know, April and her met at this church they were going to down there. April's telling us the story of what Lori was like before and after Chad Daybell. You know, and she says that even when Lori was still married with Charles and they were down there, at one point, Lori's basically like, look, I feel like I'm really, you know, spiritually growing and getting stronger. And, you know, really I'm out of Charles's league at this point. April even says that Lori longed to be with someone on her spiritual level. And I'm over here like, what kind of spiritual level is he talking about? Because whatever it is, wherever it is, I don't want a part of it. So, April recounts how the Vallows left. They moved away. And then, all of a sudden, Lori shows back up. I'm thinking she teleported at this point. Now, at this point, April says she's talking about, oh, Charles cheated on me. He did this. He did that. And April's basically like, I was from a Charles too, and I didn't believe that. This is the part she says, like, look, Lori was all mixed up with this damn podcast group and Chad Daybell and, all this BS. I think she was being very nice and poised on the show, but I think she honestly was probably like laughing her ass off at this BS that Lori was spouting. Now, April recounts just how petty Lori is by telling us a story about Lori tried to sabotage one of Charles's business trips by canceling his return flight and going and getting his truck from the airport. And that right there, like, who does that? Why would you do that? Well, the reason she's doing it is because she had moved on, but she wanted his money. In my opinion, that what was going on. She was done. She was on to zombies and translated teleportation Star Trek bullshit, but she needed Charles's money. She had exhausted her situation. It was time to grift on over to the next one, exploit whoever she could, which I guess now is going to be Chad Daybell, and move along. Now, y'all, of course we don't hear from Chad Daybell on this, but we see his smug little mug, and we hear from other people that knew him. We hear from one dude, like a little NBC correspondent person who was, knew him and whatever, and he was like, you know what, Chad never once said, this isn't Lori, this is some crazy talk right here. Never said that, which is very telling. Now, there's other people from way back when talking about, oh yeah, Charles was saying that, he got in some kind of little thing in the water, bumped his head, and he had some kind of little acid trip, conversation with some ancestors that told him he needed to pack it up to Idaho and hide things out until the end of times. Y'all, let's talk about a former fan club member here, Angela Stone. She was in this, and hopefully she's, sticking to this where she's looking back on the stuff that she used to believe and follow, and it's like, Basically, she says, look, this is just a crazy bunch of damn preppers. I am curious now with COVID going on if they are using the stuff they've been prepping, like if this is like that time for them. So they like hunker down somewhere eating dried out potatoes and ice cream for the next, whatever until July 22nd. Now she recounts how Charles was like, you know what, Tammy, his former wife, she was supposed to die in a car wreck, but she didn't. So now she's inhabited by a zombie. I would have more respect for the situation and these beliefs if they all came out and were like, look, y'all, we were on some heavy drugs. I mean, peyote, acid, you name it, we were doing it. And I'd be like, you know what? Okay, I can kind of see how you got there. The stone cold sober, like, no, that was legit. There was 144,000 people. I'm just like, what? This brings me to Melanie and Ian. Y'all, let's just get right to the damn chase about it. Now, y'all remember, Melanie is the niece of Lori. She was married to Brandon Boudreaux, and now she's married to Ian Pawlowski. Brandon Boudreaux claimed that someone had shot at him at one point, and it heavily looked like it was Alex Cox. And so they jump right into this, and they're like, look, what do you think? And she's like, you know what, at one point I really questioned, did Alex try and come after Brandon like that? And I actually confronted him, and, he said absolutely not, and we kind of laughed it off. It just so happens that her and Brandon were going through some messy divorce at that time. And I'm like, hello, here's the MO. Someone feels in this family like they're being wronged, and they're not getting what they want, which is usually the other person's stuff. And here you go. Alex shows up and takes care of it. Now, Melanie is trying to play off every damn thing in this whole situation like it is not a big deal. On the aspect of Chad and Lori getting married so quick, she's like, no, I mean, if you know that's who you want to be with, I mean, why go out there and be dating all around and stuff? And I'm just like, can we get some context going on here? It's like, you do know what all just happened. Now, she also says that when she moved to Idaho to be near them, which is also another completely bizarre thing, she says, look, I believe Lori that, the kids weren't there, that the kids were, with other people and whatnot. Now, here's my thing. I'm not trying to say that, oh, every family should be like this or whatever. Even my family members who I'm not that close with, like if I moved to their area to be around them and the kids weren't there, it might pass for a weekend. But very soon I would be like, that's weird. Why aren't your kids here? Like, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that Melanie tries to play this off is just another red flag in my book. She even goes so far as to say, look, there was nothing weird about Chad and Lori leaving out of town when the cops came back the day after the wellness check. They were already planning on doing that. And we're over here like, girl, really, pick your battles. I mean, if you're going to lie about everything, pick some things to do it about, but this, no. Too many coincidences. Now, y'all, her and Ian had a whirlwind romance, too. They met on a dating app called Mutual. It's an LDS dating app. I had to sign up. But, y'all, I got completely scared of it. And then when they put this up there, I was like, okay, no, y'all, I'm out here. I'm afraid I'm going to get killed on this damn thing. It's not worth it. Bye-bye. So, y'all, Ian and Melanie marry in Vegas very quickly. And also, Alex Cox goes there with his fine young lady, Zulama, and they get married too. And I'm just like, what are all these people doing this for? I personally think what it is they're all in this weird belief of something's going on, so they have to get hitched, they have to do this. And I also think it's probably a way of transferring money and belongings and things like this. But let's not leave Zulama yet. Let's talk about some of her interesting personality traits. She likes long walks on the beaches, being able to control the elements, and some other weird shit. Now, so then Alex Cox dies. The lawyers are trying to dismiss it. They're like, this is just silly to think that, Alex killed all these people, so now, they got to get rid of him. I mean, why would anyone even think that? And I'm like, hello, have you even remotely looked at the headlines in the last, several months here? Of course, that's what we're gonna think. So, Ian admits to working with the FBI and wearing a wiretap to record conversations with Melanie. Remember the documents that came out that outlined all of these bizarre beliefs these people believed in? Well, that's where it came from. And I'm sitting here like this, I'm like, Ian, run. Y'all, if you're in a new relationship with somebody and it becomes a requirement to wear an FBI wiretap to see if you can figure out if they are hiding information about their missing cousins, y'all, it's too much. That is too much. Go back on that damn LDS app and find the next one. Now, y'all, Melanie rounds us out by saying, look, this isn't a cult. Basically, this is all just coincidental stuff. And I'm just like, okay, the first sign that you're in a cult is when you have to actually form the thought and say, y'all, my group of friends is not a cult. Y'all, click that video at the top there if you want to see the rest of my thoughts on this crazy case and some other ones. Or click that other video if it looks interesting to you. Stay safe. I'll see y'all soon.